Hey, good morning, folks. We're looking at John chapter 4 today. In John chapter 4, the first, three-fourths is this story about Jesus and the woman of Samaria at the well, and it is a really a lengthy story, which it should be noteworthy. It should cause us to really wonder why John focused so much on this story, and there is so much in here, and we can't possibly hit everything. But the big deal is that Jesus is interacting with a woman from Samaria, and she even acknowledges in verse 9, "How is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me, a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with Samaritans." And they go to talk about this, getting her water, and that there's a living water that Jesus offers, and if she only realized what he had to offer, that she would want this living water. And she finally, in verse 15, says, "Sir, give me this water so that I will not be thirsty or have to come here to draw water." So she really doesn't understand it, and Jesus is talking that this water will lead and well up to eternal life, and Jesus eventually tells her in verse 16, he says, "Go call your husband." And she says, I don't have a husband." He says, "You're right, you have 5 husbands, and the one you have now is not your husband." And they have this discussion. She realizes that he is a prophet. Jesus is a prophet. They have this discussion about she says they used to worship on this mountain, and she says, and that you, the Jews, say now you have to worship in a place in Jerusalem. And Jesus says that an hour is coming where you won't have to worship in Jerusalem or on this mountain, but you will worship the Father in spirit and in truth, and that the Messiah is coming. And so this is, for the Jews, would be just absolutely earth-shattering teaching, that no longer would you have to go to the temple in Jerusalem, but you could worship wherever. And to think about that they would have had many 40 years wandering in the desert, where they could only worship at the tent of the tabernacle and the ark, and all of that is where you had to worship. And now Jesus is saying that will go away. And so it would have been big news. Jesus bringing, interacting with the Samaritan woman, and then it says, he reveals himself to you, saying that I am the Messiah. And in verse 39, many Samaritans believed in him. Jesus sticks around for 2 more days, and many more believed. So we see this, Jesus has brought salvation beyond the Jews. He's brought salvation to the Samaritans, and many have come to believe. And we see this growth and this expansion of his kingdom. He goes on to Galilee, and it says many come to believe there. And then we conclude this chapter with Jesus healing his second sign, healing the official son. In all, we don't know for certain, but we believe that this official would have been a Gentile, probably tied to Rome. And we don't know for sure, but certainly would have had ties to the Gentiles. And this official, his son is healed. Jesus heals from a distance. And it says he himself, this is the official, believed, and all his household. So we see people coming to accept who Jesus is, coming to realize he is the Messiah, and that this is beyond just for Jews, and this concept of where people will worship. I mean, just big things in chapter 4. So have a great day. Let me know what you're learning as you go through this. As I said, there's a lot here. We can't possibly talk about everything. We'll get into chapter 5 tomorrow, where we're going to start seeing things happening on the Sabbath, which would have been a big, earth-shattering things at that time as well. So have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.